Hello class, today we're going to do SAM Project 1A, Excel Module 3, Performing Calculations with Formulas and Functions. Just like we normally do, make sure you download all the files. You'll have the instruction file and the actual working file. I know I say this all the time, but make sure before you start working on it, you edit your file name so that it can properly grade. All right, first we're going to we're going to switch to the cells projection worksheet, which is this down here in the bottom left corner. Click on cells projection. Then it wants us to percentages to range B6. All right, so it wants us to do B6 and C6, and it wants us to extend the these percentages to D6 through H6. So I'm going to grab the bottom right corner and drag over. Oh wait, I got enable editing. Alright, so B6, C6, grab the bottom right corner, and it should show the percentages ramping up to 35%. And then just release, and we'll have completed that step. Let's see. It wants us to do A7 and A8. It wants us to extend that down to through A9 through A11. So same thing, grab the bottom right corner of those two cells, move it down to A11. It should show 2028 and the right next to it. If it does, then you can release it and it'll autofill those. Now it wants us to autofill the range A9. Oh wait, no, we did that. A9. A9 to H11. Wait. A9 to H11. Alright, so select cells A9 through H11. Click this quick analysis. No, I thought that would do autofill. Use autofill to fill range A9 through H11. A9 A7 to H8. A7. Okay, so select A7 through H8. And we're just going to copy the formatting. So I'm going to do the format painter, and then actually I wonder if I can, nope, Control Z. And then I'm just going to select A7 through H11 and do the format. Alright, this part's kind of tricky. If you do Format Painter, and then grab this properly where it shows a little paintbrush. Oh, it's not dragging down. Oh wait, there we go. Nope. Alright, well, it filled in. I'm just going to delete these. It filled in the right formatting just by dragging down. Delete. Alright, next we go to B8. We're going to create a formula. So we're not going to use a built-in formula. It wants us to create one that does. So I do equal. It's going to be B7. Wait. Equals B7 times B6. And then it adds the value. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses because it wants us to add it next. So B7, then plus B7. So I've got equals parentheses B7 times B6 parentheses plus B7. Use a mix reference for cell B6 includes. Alright, so it wants us to use an absolute reference to row 6. So after B6, I think we just put a $. So that should be an absolute reference to row. Oh. Unless it goes before. Let's see, B6. All right, so look at that formula. It should be B7 times B $6. Have those both in parentheses, and then plus B7. I believe that's how you do that. And then we're going to copy that formula from cell B8 to B9 to B11. So we're going to grab down to, we're going to grab that one and copy down to B11. All right, looks like it incremented properly. And then we're going to copy that from all the way across from C8 to H8. So I'm just going to grab the bottom right corner again, and I'm going to drag all the way to the right. All right. All right, next we're going to go to the cost estimates sheet. So bottom left corner, click on cost estimates. We're going to go to cell A9. It's the cell right next to average. We're going to create a formula using the average function. So we're going to do equals average parentheses and it wants us to average A5 to A7. So you can select those, or I just find it easier to type it in sometimes. All right, so should have the average there, and then it wants us to copy that cell, or copy that formula. So do copy over to the other average one. All right, so if you just do Control C, Control P, it should copy. And we're going to do the same thing for A10 for max. So it's going to be equals max parentheses A5 A7 close parentheses. Same thing, we're going to copy that one over. So move that to D10, Control V. We're going to do min next. So in the minimum, do equals minimum. Oh, equals min, parentheses. Same thing, A5, A7. Control C, Control V into D11. And B13, the one next to manufacturer's candidate, it wants us to do a VLOOKUP. So do equal sign, VLOOKUP, V parentheses, set the value. So this one it wants us to do lookup value, so it's going to be A11, comma, A5 colon B7. And it's going to be 2 for column 2. All right, I'm going to put a parentheses around that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if it works, it should say vendor 2. It wants us to copy that into E13. So I'm going to do Control C, Control V. D11, E5. Alright, that one says not available. I'm guessing something I did wrong. Let's see. Function that looks up the value from A11, A5 to B7, A5, B7, returns the value in column 2 and specifies an exact match. Alright, in order to get this to work, after the 2, you need to put a comma and put false to do an exact match. And then it should show vendor 2 and shipper 3. All right, next we're going to switch to the profit projections sheet. So go down the bottom left, select profit projections. We're going to go to cell H5, which is here. We're going to use the today function, so equals today. So just do equals today and then parentheses to get that one to work. And that just puts the current date. Then we're going to go to cell H7 and we're going to use a formula. Create a formula. So we're going to do equals net work days, comma. So it wants us to do start date and end date. It wants us to do, hang on a second. All right, so we do network days, parentheses, start date is going to be H5, comma, H6, parentheses. All right, so then it shows how many work days to market. We're going to go to B12, C12, let's see, B12, C12. Select these and it wants us to extend the percentages out to D12 through H12. We're going to do A13 and A14. Grab the bottom right corner and extend that down to A17. Then we're going to, in B13, we're going to create a formula. So equals, it's going to use absolute references and subtract B5 from B6. So I'm going to do B6 minus parentheses B5 plus B7 multiplied by B8. And it wants absolute references, so it's going to be $sign, $sign, this formula might be incorrect, we'll see. All right. Based on the table, that formula is not correct. Should be, should do parentheses. Let's see. All right, there might be another way to do this, but this is the formula I got to make it correct. It wants you to do absolute references, so make sure you put in the $signs for that. But it should be, I did parentheses, B6 minus parentheses, B5 plus B7, parentheses, multiplied by B8. Hopefully you can see that in the video. It's in this address bar right here. And then we need to copy that to, let's see, from B13. It wants us to copy that all the way over to H13, so I'm just going to drag it across. Subtract the values. Not using a function, using absolute rest. Okay, I think I did that wrong, or just slightly wrong. So I'm going to Control Z, get rid of the parentheses before the letter, or not the $sign before the letter. So I think it's going to be, I think it should just be an absolute reference to the number, not the column also. So now when I drag this across, see B8. What is it? Not right either. Create a formula without a function using absolute references that straps the value of B5 and B7, B8. Oh, maybe I was correct. Looks like they should have all been the same value across. So change that back to what it was. So this is the final formula. And then drag that over. Okay, so it should look like that. All the cells should have 4, 2, 3, 700 in them. Then we're going to go up. Let's see. Cell B14, it wants us to create another formula. Adds 1 to the value in cell B12. All right, so we're going to do equals. Let's see, B12 plus 1. And then times B13 wants us to use a, what should this be, B12? Wants us to use an absolute reference for row 12, so it'll be B $12 plus 1. Let me see if that's correct. No, it's not correct. Put should be equals B $12 plus 1 parentheses times B13. Oh. Okay, now it's the correct formula. So it's equals parentheses B $12 plus 1 parentheses multiplied by B13. We're going to copy that formula. We're going to do, it wants us to copy it to from B15 to B17, so drag it down first and then drag it to the right. So it should drag through all the cells. There we go. It wants us to delete row 19, so just select row 19, select delete. All right, and that is the completion for this week. If you didn't at the beginning, change the file name. Make sure you change it at the end before you submit it. Go ahead and save this and submit it for this week's assignment. This is Word Project 3, or no, Excel Project 3. All right, everyone have a good day or week or whatever it is when you watch this. All right, bye.